Hey there and welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing. And also don't forget to click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you enjoy this tutorial, please give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family. So today we're going to make two different Valentine's DIYs. I said Valentine's because I'm making it right now, but this one calendar you can use year-round, and I was super excited when I found it at Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do is remove the months and dates from the inside of my block, my little square, and I'm going to score with my box cutter and remove the llama that comes on top of my calendar. And I'm just cleaning that edge up, and then I'm going to sand it down, just a light sand, just to make sure that it has a nice clean finish. Once I'm done with that, I went ahead and I'm going to recycle one of these small plaques for Christmas signs that I still had left over that I never ended up using. So what I'm going to do is add some E6000 and a little bit of hot glue to attach my block or my square to my sign. And this is the smaller plaque, which fits perfect with this block calendar. So just go ahead and place your bottom block to your sign. And the hello on this sign had glitter, so all I did was just with some sandpaper just kind of sanded it down and allowed to basically removed all the glitter from the top part of my sign. Once you're done with that, go ahead and grab any color of paint you like. I'm using the Apple Barrel black paint, and I gave it 2 coats just to make sure it was nice and painted and no streaks or any fading with my sign or my calendar. So I also painted the bottom of my calendar as well. And just go ahead and once you're done painting with the color that you choose to use, go ahead and set it aside and allow it to dry. Once it's completely dry, all you have to do is get a closepin. I'm using one of the smaller clothespins, and I just added a little bit E6000 and some hot glue to glue that to the top of my plaque sign, which is now my plaque calendar. And I did this because now I can personalize it and use it, add any notes or my favorite quote for the month, or for instance for Valentine's, I'm going to add a little heart up here on top of my calendar, just like that. So this is a fun way to add and personalize your little calendar, block calendar, for any occasion. Now, our second DIY today, I'm going to recycle this Jingle All the Way sign. And what I'm doing is removing the metal Jingle All the Way. And I'm going to keep that because I know I'm going to use it next year for sure. And I'm going to paint both sides of this sign. First, I remove the jute twine that you hang your sign with. And just go ahead and give it any coat and paint it any color, that you'd like. And I'm using white, so I did have to paint it, give it 2 coats to make sure that none of that red came through. And I have a quick question. I have so many ideas and so many goals that I want to reach for my YouTube channel in 2020. And by the way, Happy New Year's. I hope you guys had a great one. But my question is real quick. Would you guys be interested in maybe having like a talk with me or a chat with me type of tutorial or video? And basically just have the opportunity to let you guys know what my plans are, what my goals are, what I'd like to reach and do, different things that I'm thinking about doing and for my channel, and just get some feedback from you guys as well to see what you're interested in and what you guys want to have me add to my tutorials or have me take away to my tutorials, but a chat with me kind of videos. So if you're interested in something like that, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to do that with you guys on my next tutorial. So what I did was I'm using these letters that I got at Dollar Tree. They're stickers, and I'm using a metal heart that I recycled from last year's Valentine's. So what I'm doing is just placing them wherever I like, and I'm going to trace my letters out using a pencil and just lightly tracing them out, because we are going to remove the stickers and paint the the trace out. So, but first what I wanted to do was go ahead and glue my heart so I can make sure that it stays in place where I want it to be while I do everything else. So I use E6000 and a little bit of hot glue, and I placed my I love you portion of my sign in an angle. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I placed my heart exactly where I wanted it. Once I'm done with that, I went ahead and started adding the rest of my letters. And from the bottom of my sign to where my letters are at is 3 inches. And basically I just drew a line 3 inches from the bottom of my sign, just to make sure that they were all nice and straight. But I like that shabby chic farmhouse homemade style, so it's not exactly straight, and it's not exactly separated each letter, the exact amount. But if you want to do it that way, feel free to go ahead and just measure everything out. So what I'm doing is basically just kind of eyeballing where I want my letters to be and how I want them to be spaced out, and I'm making sure I'm adding all my letters to each one of my words before I start tracing the rest of my letters out, just to make sure that I have them where I want and they all fit nice and neat. And if they don't, just make sure you don't rub onto your letters too much. That way you can go ahead and move them around like I am right now, just to make sure you have them where you're happy and you're satisfied with the separation and everything else of your wordings. So once you're happy, just go ahead and start tracing out all the rest of the letters. And like I said, just a light trace. You don't have to press on your pencil. Basically, it's just for you to have a line so you can go ahead and paint in between. So once you're done tracing all your letters, go ahead and remove your stickers. Or if you don't want to do this step, you want to leave your stickers, feel free to leave your stickers on there. If you do decide to do that, I would highly recommend you add some Mod Podge on top of your letters and brush it all along your sign and allow it to dry. That way your stickers, they'll stay in place. But again, what I wanted to do was paint them a different color. So I removed my stickers and I decided to use pink from Apple Barrel. I believe it's cotton pink or candy. I'm not sure what it's called, but I'll make sure to leave the exact name of the Apple Barrel paint that I'm using down below with everything else that I'm using, all the other supplies. So go ahead and grab a paintbrush that works for you and paint all the letters. Just to give you guys a little update, like I was saying, I want to know if you want to just have a talk with me type of tutorial. But one thing that I am going to do, and I'm going to bring you guys along with me to do this, is I'm actually going to designate an area of my home for my tutorials. So I'm going to set it up and buy a new desk and all these other new items that I really didn't think I was going to need this soon, but now I really want them. So I'm going to redo my little YouTube area. So that's going to be something that I'm going to bring you guys along, because I'm going to do some thrift store revamping and some more DIYs just to decorate my little area. So once you're done painting your letters and you allow them to dry, what I did was, as you saw, I grabbed my ruler and just with a black permanent marker lined up, made the lines again just to make that more of a boarded type look of sign. And what I'm using here is the tan, I believe it's the khaki, a lighter color. I didn't want to use a dark brown for this area, but you can. And I'm just kind of dry brushing all the edges just to give it that more rustic, rough look and more of a farmhouse style. And I'm just brushing it all around the edges of my sign. And I'm also going to brush it along where I place the lines for my with my permanent marker, just to give it more of that older distressed look. And again, you don't have to use this khaki. You can use a darker brown, like the antique wax color, or even black if you want to do it that way. Any color that you want to use. So like I said, I'm also going to do the same process right on top of my lines where I did them with my permanent marker. And you don't need a lot of paint, so just make sure you have something or a napkin or just to wipe off that excess paint to make sure it's more of a dry brush. And then just go ahead and brush along all the lines. And it doesn't matter if you go over the letters because that's the kind of style at least I'm going for. So once you're done with all the lines, I decided to go ahead and just brush the entire sign with the leftover paint that's on my paintbrush. And as you can tell, I'm just lightly brushing it, but I'm kind of going really quick with it just so I won't get those harsh lines. So once I was done with that and allowed all that paint to dry, which doesn't take but a few minutes, I grabbed my permanent marker and I decided to outline all the letters. Now this is completely optional. You don't have to do this step at all, but this is just the style that I was going for. And again, you don't have to use a black permanent marker. You can use a brighter pink or a darker pink or even a brown. It just, the creativity and the, just personalize it whichever way you like. I'm here just to give you guys an idea and inspire you to do some of your DIYs, but just to make them your own. Just do whatever you like with them. I'm sure they're going to look perfect, no matter what, because they're yours. So once I was done outlining my letters, what I decided to do was grab 2 of my deers from Christmas, the ones with the glitter, and I sanded them down just slightly. And now I'm painting them with a tan color from Apple Barrel. And one of the deers, I'm going to paint everything, including the antlers, the same color of brown. Once I've painted the entire deer head and antlers, I set that one aside and allowed it to dry. And then I went ahead and painted just the head part of the second deer. And I left the antlers glittery. The idea was I wanted to make one look more like the female and one more as the male. So this is the way I decided to go ahead and do it. Like I said, I painted everything except for the antlers on the second deer. Go ahead and allow those to dry. So once they're almost completely dry, what I decided to do was to make the antlers on my male deer a little bit different. So I grabbed some white paint and just brushed them white, repainted my antlers on the male deer head. And what I did, since it was still a little bit wet, when I painted them white, it ended up making them look a lighter tan color, which I loved. So it was perfect. So if you want to make the same color I did, just when it's almost dry, not completely dry, paint them white and it's going to look like that tan color. And here I'm showing you there were the hearts that I used for my other projects. There were some little hearts in there still where that they didn't remove. So I just kind of kept some of them and I glued them onto the female antlers. But if you don't have this, you can easily just add maybe some little pearls or a little piece of sequins or anything that you want that's girly, or even just a bow would look adorable as well. But since I had these, I decided to add them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these arrows. Like I said in my last tutorial, these arrows, I had them since last year and they broke in half, which is fine. I'm still going to use them. What I did was I grabbed my ruler and I placed it in the bottom of my sign just to give me something to make sure that my arrow is nice and straight. And as you can tell, I'm making sure that the bottom of my arrow and the bottom of the point of my arrow are on my ruler, so I know that it's nice and straight. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and insert my jute twine back into the openings of my sign and tying a knot in the back so that way I can hang it up. Now once my deers are dry, what I'm going to do is add some E6000 and a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to glue them to the corner of my sign. And what I did was glued the male on top, and I kind of glued him in an angle, and then I'm going to glue the female on the right beside it, right below my male deer. The same process, E6000 and some hot glue, and I'm gonna glue it right there and the opposite angle of my male. And there you have it. Now I decided to go ahead and get a little bit of this little pink buds that I had from one of the flower arrangements, but you can easily add some maybe a pink ribbon, a pink bow, a little bit of pearls, whatever you'd like, or you can leave it as is. But like I said, I just had this on hand, so I decided to add it to my female. And now I decided to go ahead and grab my permanent marker and define the nose of the male with my permanent marker. And I did the same process with my female doe or deer, just using it with a little bit of pink, but very, very lightly. And I also added black to the male's ears. And then after I did this, I grabbed a napkin and I just kind of wiped away the black from the ears, not the nose, just the ears, just to give it more of a lighter look inside the ears. So this is my calendar. And this is the finished I love you dearly sign. So what do you guys think? I hope you guys enjoyed. And again, I hope and pray that you guys had a great New Year's. And don't forget to let me know in the comments down below if you'd like a chat with me tutorial. Until next time, you guys be blessed. Bye.